Olympics here at Temple, and I particularly admire his facility with the balloon toss. I watched him this past Saturday, water-filled balloons back and forth, and he had the wisdom to announce this event but stay far away from the balloons. It was very interesting. And when it came time for the jump rope competition, he announced that he was going to jump rope himself. And everyone paused, and then he designated his stand-in as the jump rope. I learned a lot from this. I learned that I, too, can participate in the Summer Olympics from this time on forward. I just need a couple of ringers to represent me. But I kid only because our guest is a young man at whose wedding I had the privilege of officiating. His wife Julie and their 3 daughters are a cherished part of Temple life. And it's my honor tonight to introduce our first guest speaker in the Irvin and June Yaknis Summer Speaker Series, Michael Sher.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I told you I'm a big believer in the designated hitter program, and I believe in the importance of letting other people do things that you can't do yourself. So I'm a big believer in that. Before I came up here, my wife, lovely wife Julie, told me to do 2 things. One, articulate and slow down. And what really got me thinking about this, I walked up, as I remember when I was 13 years old, and I was walking up to meet Rabbi Roman at our congregation behind us, and my mother said to me, articulate and slow down. And for those of you who've had a bar or bat mitzvah here at Temple Bethel, you know that the rabbi has a way of putting his hand or her hand behind your neck, and if you're going a little too quick, they'll start to squeeze just a little bit to remind you to articulate and slow down. And as Rabbi Roman was pushing his fingers into the flesh of my neck, the debate came in. Is it better for me to get through this as quick as possible or to suffer the pain? I chose the pain and going as quick as possible, and it was the fastest Temple Bethel bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah in history. But what I'm going to talk to you about is this. Rabbi Stein was kind enough to give me the opportunity to talk to you on April 19th. He gave me a letter, gave me plenty of time to think of what I wanted to talk about. April 19th turned to May 19th, May 19th turned to June 19th, and June 19th I realized I was a week away. And I knew what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about a modern dilemma with a Jewish solution. And as I went through my day trying to figure out what to talk about, I figured out something about distractions. Because I realized what took me so long to get to writing a sermon was the distractions of my iPhone and my kids and my work. And what gave me the story, the mindset of why and what to talk about, was I was selling a house to an Orthodox family. And the Orthodox father of the family said, Michael, is there any way for us to turn the sensor lights off? The motion sensor lights, because on Saturdays we cannot have the motion sensor lights turn on, turn off, because we have to honor the Sabbath. I never was asked that question before. And then he said, Shabbat is a precious gift from God to all of us, freeing us of ourselves from mundane distractions to devote oneself to higher pursuits. And then I took that to heart, and I thought to myself, what does that mean? It is about being here. Being here with you being here with me. It is about being in the moment. In Genesis, God said to Adam, where are you? Now, I will not cover the scholarly interpretations. I only bring up the great question, where are you? Now, God knew, obviously, where Adam was. But he's asking, are you here? Or are you not here? Physically, mentally, spiritually. often we split ourselves. We're on the phone, but with our wife. We're with our kids by answering an email on our iPhone. We're in a meeting and we're texting someone. We call that multitasking. And in the business world, is a big thing. To be a multitasker, you can go and do several things. But what I figured out was if you do two things at the same time, you are giving 50% to each thing. Now, I was not a very good student in school, but I knew 50% was a failing grade. So when we go and we give 50% to our child and 50% to our work, we are failing both of them. Where are you? Are you here? Adonai tells us to honor thy mother and father, which includes, in my feeling, our kids and our friends. Are you honoring them when you give them 50% of your time, your 50% of being here? Now to the more serious level of distraction. Distraction of a physical danger. As some of you are aware, recently there's a story of a young man named Aaron DeVell who was just charged with vehicular manslaughter. This 18-year-old boy was texting. 50% of his time was texting, the other 50% of the time was behind the wheel of the car. And that 50% that was behind the wheel of the car was not enough to see the car in front of him, or to save the life of the 59-year-old man who died on the other side of that car, or the 59-year-old woman who was in that car with her boyfriend, who is still to this day is still ill and is recovering. That 18-year-old boy has 2.5 years in jail, 15 years of not being able to drive again. Was 50% enough to drive that car? Now, technology is a wonderful thing, but has it spread us too thin? Are our accomplishments, which are so great, are they less meaningful? By being everywhere, are we truly anywhere? My father, who worked a lot of hours, he worked 10, 12 hours a day, and he was at the office, but when he came home, he was home. He didn't have a cell phone or an email. When we were having dinner, we were having dinner. Our conversations were one-on-one. Is that what it is today? It is like separating meat and milk, work and home. Are we having a kosher life in that respect? Are we separating our work and our home? Now today, we work only 8 hours a day. But that's only meaning we're 8 hours at the office, because we're all working 16